DragonX who the favorites were.
KT roster.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 2019 LCK Spring. I'm Atlas, joined by LS once again. I know it was a long break. That 2-0 was pretty swift by Sandbox Gaming, but thankfully we've got LS's health back on board, and we should be fine moving into Kingzone versus Afreeca Freecs for our final matchup of Week 9. Only one more week remains, and if you're a KT fan, you're also a Kingzone fan tonight.
I mean, that is really true. Afreeca and KT are neck and neck.
Yeah.
Inside of the relegation zone. They're like trying to get out of the sand pit, and they're just getting sucked in right now. And now Kingzone are looking to put them that much further into it.
And also, Kingzone fighting to get back into third place. Sandbox, with their victory in our first series of the night, have reclaimed that position, and now Kingzone are about to put them in their place once again. Their game score is better, so if they even things out, it means that Kingzone do stand one rung above, which is good because the head-to-head is even between those two teams. We're going to check in on those standings, and like I was saying, Kingzone right now are in fourth place, but after a win here, we'll be moving up to either plus 13 or plus 14, and we'll be ahead of Sandbox Gaming in that third position. Damwon just confirmed wildcard positioning, and avoiding that wildcard best of 3 is definitely on the forefront of both Sandbox and Kingzone's minds. So we'll see whether they can confirm with that one. As you can see as well, Afreeca Freecs are very close, dangerously close, to KT Rolster, who were able to get a surprise victory over Jin Air yesterday.
Yep.
And that's an actual relevant thing that I can say.
Kingzone are, I mean,
doing okay.
they're doing all right here.
The old 8-game winning streak.
Yeah, almost.
They haven't lost one since SKT, and it's looked pretty easy.
Oh, I thought you meant like matches. I was like, well, they're pretty close to that too.
Actually,
SK Telecom failed their plans there.
A little bit of a blip. That's a blip in the middle there for Kingzone DragonX.
Not looking so hot in recent times. They did get a win over KT.
And Griffin.
But they had the Jin Air curse that was aiding them.
Yeah,
so you have to remember.
Remember, equilibrium does need to be reclaimed.
Right. So, Afreeca, though, they did lose to Gen G. They're coming into tonight, and I think everyone is probably considering Kingzone the favorites. And if we talk about the games left, Afreeca really need this win because they go up next against SK Telecom.
Yeah, wins are looking difficult to find here for the Afreeca Freecs. Let's put it that way. There's no beating around the bush. Afreeca have a hell of a run towards the last of it. KT Rolster as well. They're going to be facing Damwon Gaming in the final match of the season, and that is trying to get them out of that relegation zone. But looking at points of the match, what's held you?
I like how they put clapped.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Recently, Afreeca
They did get clapped by Gen G. It's not wrong.
The producers are even in on this kind of terminology now. As now we take a look at some of the team stats here. Champions picked 58. They were second, whereas Afreeca, yeah, they kind of do whatever they want. They're first, but only by 1. I'm actually surprised by that.
Yeah, and actually,
Kiin
with 18 unique champions.
He's been places.
He has. He hasn't played anything other than Aatrox more than 3 times. And you have to remember that this is the weird and wonderful Afreeca Freecs. So within that champion pool, there is 3 Lucian games and 2 Vayne games.
It's like a Willy Wonka factory.
It is very, very strange.
You know?
Very, very strange.
You never quite know what you're going to get. Here we are getting some highlights, though, of Afreeca. SSUN's roam down into the bottom lane.
And they managed to get Sun the Zoe twice in a row against Gen G. And then nothing really happened, and they lost.
Juve getting blown up.
This is beautiful.
That was really, really well executed by Kiin. It almost looked too easy.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some Aurelia bans maybe in this one, because that is the huge mismatch that we were talking about last time these 2 teams faced, which was a very, very long time ago. No longer can Rascal just go back to picking the Urgot and being K, because there aren't those kind of champions towards the top side. This might be the opportunity.
And this was a fantastic engage by Pawn here in this highlight. Such an impressive engage, really just encapsulating what Lissandra is as a champion as well. Multiple forms of invulnerability.
Yeah, multiple forms of being a winning
very
champion.
Fun. Unfortunate there by Tusin, wasn't quite able to get the acquired taste right there, but it's no problem.
This was Deft's 1,000th kill.
That was it.
As he picked that one up. Deft is joining the ranks of many very big names, and I think he's the 9th person in the LCK to pick up 1,000 kills. So congratulations to Deft. Came in just after Sangyu picked up his 1,000 kills this year as well. And look, he does it by getting a lot of damage in.
He has okay stats.
Yeah, 636. I think there is a bigger gap between second and last place when it comes to damage done than there is between Deft and second place.
Okay. Well,
so Deft is pretty good at doing damage, guys. That's what we're saying.
He's all right at doing it.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I guess is going to be difficult here for Afreeca is how are they going to handle Deft in the bottom lane? And I mean, usually every time we talk about Afreeca, we talk about how they're like that one. Well, I mean, they are the team with Kiin. Yeah. And Kiin is the best top laner in the league right now. And it's just so weird because you wouldn't ever expect to say that one of the bottom place teams has the undisputed best player in a certain role.
But it is absolutely true. And if you watch him play, you'd completely understand.
It's
Champion pool's
fair.
gigantic. Yeah. I know. It's so sad.
like,
it's almost like the Teddy Award should go to Kiin.
It's like
actually.
Ashe's Pikachu or something. It just doesn't lose. Like you're going up against Ashe and he's using all these non-evolved Pokemon. You're like, well, surely you can't win.
Yeah, you actually just can't win.
But then the script is just in his favor, so his Pikachu just can't lose. But
don't worry, he never wins any of the Pokemon League matches, though. So thankfully that curse remains to keep some equilibrium. Like Pawn's new hairdo. Got a bit of a color upgrade, as I think that Rascal, that man on your screen right there, as he walks out onto the LoL Park stage, is nervous to go up against Kiin. Because Rascal has been getting wins, but a couple of them have been on the gangplank that hasn't looked very good. It's been dove time and time again. He's had some pop-off performances, but this is the biggest test that he has faced after his recent winning streak. See Acorn on the end there. We'll see how the draft is going to fit together. Here for King's own DragonX. They have the best bottom lane in the league, but will that be enough to get them over the line against arguably the best top laner in the league?
Yeah. I mean, that's really the key player matchup for me, actually, is what can King's Own do to offset the top dynamic? Yes, they have Deft down there in the bottom lane, but this is still patch 9.5. This is a top-centric meta if you have a power top laner.
Well, Kingzone are going to be starting on the red side, so they will be able to get a decent matchup for Rascal, you have to think. See whether Kingzone are going to fall into some of the pitfalls that other red side teams have in the draft phase by not necessarily getting that matchup to a position that you really wanted in. Kingzone have been drafting intelligently, though. And I'm going to be looking at the mid-jungle synergy on the side of Kingzone DragonX to get them over the line, because Dread and Sun are exploitable, and then if Cuzz can get a lead, he can transition that onto the top side of the map. I think going for aggressive ganks onto Kiin could be difficult to make work for this Kingzone squad early, unless Cuzz can get himself over the line. So Cuzz has been playing better. Whether or not he gets his hands on the Gragas will definitely be a big question. Hello to some of our Western viewers from the audience, cycling through a few of them here.
And we are about to jump in to the ban and picks.
The ban and the picks?
Ban and the picks.
Why do we call it pick and ban? It's around the wrong way. Like the right icon was upside down.
I just thought about that.
Yeah. We should say ban and pick.
Ban and pick.
Oh,
why is it picks and bans?
I think Brendan says ban pick.
Does
oftentimes. He? Yeah, I think so. I think
well, it's actually called ban pick.
Yeah, no, ban pick is way better.
Ban. Ooh.
All right, let's do that.
That's it.
Pick and ban not happening anymore, guys.
No,
we're going
not at the LCK.
to ban pick,
All
and we're already getting through the ban.
We're going pretty quick.
Part of the ban.
Kingzone is actually really fast.
Yeah, they know what they want.
They seem very decisive. Yasuo now being banned away. No more Gragas Yasuo going to be on the table. Jayce is alive for Kiin. Does he want it?
That's really scary. All right. What does Rascal do to try and get through this? The Ryze is available. That's most likely going into Pawn's hands. He's been playing very, very well on the Jayce, and Tusin is going to lock down the Braum.
Now, that could be Aftershock Ryze. That could be used to try to combat the Jayce. Now, Lissandra has made it. Oh, no, she's banned.
She's banned. She was banned first.
All right,
yeah, you're just insane.
Yeah.
Losing your mind.
No, losing my mind.
Like she's going to get through.
All right.
You're a weirdo. Well, Sun could actually be ready to pilot this Galio in the mid lane. Jelly could also be picking up towards the bottom side of the map. I do like the fact that the flexibility of the Galio is being considered and locked in for the Afreeca Freecs.
And we'll see what they end up accompanying this with. It's important to note that Ezreal is also still afloat here.
Yeah, Lucian is also available, and Lucian lanes pretty well with the Galio, and denying it from Deft in this Lucian Braum lane, I think should be priority.
This is a really scary situation because you don't know which one Deft is
All right,
go
there's
for.
the Elise.
Very aggressive.
Oh my god! Okay, Deft insta-locks the Vayne.
All right.
Sure, all right. You know, his win rate in solo queue is abysmal on this pick at the moment. However, he's confident to rock it here on the Lol Park stage.
I believe that you just pinch ADCs now at this point.
Yeah.
There's really, I don't think, a reason to pinch mid laners.
But Vayne actually has a decent laning phase into the Ezreal and the Lucian that we were talking about, so you don't necessarily need to do that. Yeah, Lucian's a little bit more difficult. The theory that you can tumble out of Piercing Light is why people have spoken about Lucian being an okay matchup for the Vayne. However, he just does too much damage in the early game, so see whether they ban it here, as Tristana was the first option.
Now, we'll see what the final ban is. Ezreal, which is a little bit surprising, but I guess maybe Kingzone just wants to go a lot harder with their engage and doesn't want the flexibility of Ezreal to be able to come online. Perhaps they don't want to have to deal with later in the game the Elise spiders combined with the Ezreal mystic shots and the Jayce.
I still think Gragas would be a good choice here, but the J4 is left available and Kingzone can lock that in. I'm going to pick that one up there for Cuzz. We'll see how much he can get done early because Dread is going to be lurking in his jungle as well. Lucian that we were talking about is being considered here for aiming. Feels like the last top-tier pickup for the AD carry role that is left available with...
oh, Cog. Oh, okay. Caitlyn. This isn't 9.6. She doesn't have her buff yet, but Kate is still Kate. Can definitely outrange the Vayne.
Absolutely, but they're not going to go for it. They're going to go for the more aggressive choice in the Lucian, getting scrappy towards that bottom side. We're theoretically holding on to Rascal's pick for Kingzone as the Thresh is being looked at, and that will be Galio confirmed for the mid lane. Wife Steel bottom lane locked in and ready to go.
How insane would it be if Vayne goes mid here? Pawn just picks up the Vayne.
Oh my god.
Against the Galio. They could. There's a lot of options available when you do this. And so Kingzone, they have so many.
The Ashe is locked in.
Man.
You, sir, are a god.
The prophet is here.
You've
Atlas.
figured it out.
Okay.
Could this actually be...
coach.
Rascal could also be playing it on the top side of the map. I mean, we still don't know where everything's going.
This is going to be Aftershock Ryze, and it is going to be mid Vayne. And this is a last-second recalibration inside of the draft against the mid Galio. And this is...
this has gotten very
exciting. Yep. So the Ashe Braum will be able to neutralize the Lucian Thresh, so that aggression out the window. Your Galio is under permanent pressure against the Vayne. Now, Flash Taunt, Galio, and Cocoon, it is scary, but Vayne will have Cleanse.
She does.
So they're going to have one go at it, and then they'll need to get a second go. The Jayce up in top lane, he does have a slight edge against the Ryze, but Aftershock Ryze can go toe-to-toe with him. I would say it's a 55-45 matchup in Jayce's favor. And so Afreeca not quite finding themselves with the advantages they probably would have hoped to have had with these kind of picks.
Yeah, or that they would have expected, right?
Yeah.
With exactly how the draft went up until that very last pick-off. And you saw Pawn. Pawn was the one that insta-locked the Vayne.
Yeah.
He knew that he was the one that wanted to play it from the get-go.
Well,
oh, that is ridiculous. Haven't seen what he's been doing in solo queue. He keeps things pretty secret. On his main account, he has not been playing Vayne at all. This is something that he's kept under wraps if it is going to be a practiced pick. The last time I saw the Vayne in the mid lane, I think, was Caps.
Yeah, that's actually what
Popping
comes
off.
to mind. Other mid lane Vaynes just tend to not include them in mind.
We just don't like to think about that. Otherwise, we lose all of the hype for the matchup. Caps Vayne was definitely a good one. All right. This is very, very interesting now as Afreeca Freecs on the edge up against Kingzone. This match means so much for both of these teams. The final matchup of Week 9. Let's get into it. And here we are already. All of our teams are grouped up. Got a bit of a Thunderdome here on the top side. That is a very high-value Ghost Poro. Spotting out the Afreeca Freecs as the back is going to come in from the Lucian. And Kingzone moving as 5. Flag on cooldown now for Cuzz as all 5 of the Kingzone members are moving towards the Afreeca Freecs. Remember, Kingzone, they do have the Braum. And they have the Ashe with the Frost Shot available. Meaning that if they did find them level 1, was going to be very difficult for the Afreeca Freecs to get out without having to use their flashes. So I like the fact that they grouped early.
Also making me think, now it's interesting, Vayne elects for the Doran's Blade instead of the Call early on. Not trying to be super greedy inside of the mid lane here against the Galio. It is a hard counter matchup. But interestingly, Sun has elected for the Doran's Ring on the Galio, which is making me think that him and Dread do want to try to go aggressive early on at some point.
Or there's a lane swap.
But instead, they're going to one-up them.
This is really cute out of the Afreeca Freecs. We've seen this so many times. Kiin has wandered into the mid lane on many an occasion.
Yep.
We saw his mid-jacks actually coming out against a different team.
And this could be really terrible. I'm not quite sure what Vayne's, what is it? Not secondary. What's the word for third?
What do you mean?
The third runes, like the attack, speed, armor, MR.
Oh, right.
If Vayne has MR right now, this is really bad against the Jayce.
Absolutely.
So Vayne would probably like to have double armor coming in. But if she doesn't have it, then probably look to see a Ryze and Vayne swap. But the issue is that they're always probably going to be behind on tempo if they're looking to do that. So interesting choice here by Afreeca, and it's definitely a way to neutralize this Vayne pick.
Yep, and the team that swaps first is generally the one that is going to have that tempo advantage, like you're talking about. So this is very good for the Afreeca Freecs. Level 3 just hit from Kiin. You can see at the moment Pawn is okay, but the fact that Jayce has such a push advantage and so much bully potential here in this lane is just terrifying. These empowered shock blasts are going to add up against Pawn's Vayne here in the mid lane. I do like the gank synergy of Jarvin once he hits level 6 and the Vayne though. You get condemn stuns almost guaranteed with the Cataclysm.
Auto and Pawn right now. Oh, missed the shock
really
blast.
Nice
so
touch.
his auto attacks A little bit neutralized as Vayne's minions were reciprocating some damage due to the auto attacks onto Pawn.
Yep, you saw Dread actually enter the jungle of Cuzz, but nothing doing there as Pawn, with his tumble, should be able to clean up the majority of these minions, but actually misses a couple based on some pretty lackluster RNG. Jelly manages to lock down that cannon creep. Very nicely done. Afreeca Freecs bottom lane, but you can see Deft and Tusin are very comfortable. This is what Kingzone managed to get out of that Vayne switch over to the mid lane. It was getting the Ashe lane into the Lucian that is very comfortable and able to keep the Afreeca Freecs underneath the turret, despite the fact that Afreeca Freecs thought that they were going to have a pretty easy time here towards the bottom side.
Yeah. And so now, Afreeca, they have a little bit of a CS advantage in mid lane. Oh, this is so aggravating, though, as a jungler. Is the Ashe hawk shots, they just come out and it's like playing with map hacks in competitive.
Precisely, and if
That's
you're good
exactly
at
what it
I
is.
think that Prey was the best at it. Rip Prey, hopefully you come back for summer. But he was the best at it. Sangyun has been fantastic as well on his Ashe. That's why it gets a lot of bans against Hanwha Life. And Deft would certainly be up there. As far as Ashe play,
Dread going for a very big coin flip right here.
yeah,
Might work out.
going to land. Yeah, the cocoon comes through, and that's first blood. All too easy. Over to aiming.
And the reason that I was saying that it was a little bit of a coin flip right there is the hawk shot just came out, spotted, no camps available left-hand side, and then Cuzz was inside of Dread's jungle. It's not hard to deduce, well, where can the Elise actually be?
Well, that's going to be a bit of a whoopsie. Tusin did have the unsealed spellbook, but he's not going to change the teleport or anything like that to get back to lane. I think a little bit too early, unfortunately. For the Braum, we're going to check this out one more time. Cuzz, like you say, was lurking, spotted Dread as he was moving in.
What?
So this is just
How do you die to this?
It's a big whoopsie. Well, Tusin did have stand behind me, but max range hook.
I have nothing to say.
That's a rare mistake.
I really don't know what to. That's. I can understand if you're posturing, trying to maybe stand at the exact max range of the hook, but he was closer than that.
Yeah.
Which is what's so bizarre. And also, I mean, Dread even getting spotted by the Scryer and still committing to it. Alice, you don't need to take over for a moment.
Yeah,
I'm going to need a minute.
There were a few whoopsies that happened as Rascal has switched back to the mid lane. Sun's going to move on over. He's looking to try and claim this one. 10CS is that margin between the mid laners. Top side of the map as well. Sun's having a great time. The Afreeca Freecs, their cheeky little lane shenanigans are working, and it's definitely triggering our observers right now.
The observers are actually so on point with this, though, swapping it around for us.
They've had experience in our metas gone by, where we were witnessing, Faker's Darius switching between multiple different lanes as aiming goes aggressive onto Deft. Tusin comes on down. The heal's going to be used. The flash comes out. Cocoon lands, but Unbreakable is up for the Braum. Cuzz waiting for cooldowns. The volley comes through. Dread can't get onto Deft in the backline and can't do enough damage. There to Tusin, but it is still advantage over to the Afreeca Freecs.
And this is a really surprising turn of events here. This early on, the Galio had the ultimate available as well.
Oh, no.
So, oh, man.
Okay, don't worry
about it. They know that Cuzz is there, too, so what?
Well, Tusin gets his health back, teleports back in. Cuzz is down. That's the flash into the taunt. The Winds of War are enough as Sun takes down that kill, but can they complete the dive? Tusin's going to go down also. Jelly in trouble. The turret's going to kill him. No! He gets a level up. It's a double kill now for the Lucian, and he doesn't even die to the turret. Turret plate's going down. The Afreeca Freecs have full control of Game 1 against Kingzone.
And they're going to get so many turret plates down here now. 7.5 minutes. Kiin crashes the wave up in top, moves into mid lane. Pawn can't even crash the wave and look to get any plates here. Afreeca with almost a 3,000 gold lead at 8 minutes.
This is insane.
I mean, this is nightmare fuel, Atlas, is what's going on here. Deft just gets completely annihilated. And the way that they're juggling the turret aggro, hook misses there. They end up having to commit a heal.
Yeah, that was the heal
aiming.
that kept Jelly alive. I thought it might have been a level up, but no. Got a little bit overexcited. I like leveling in order to survive dives.
Turns out Kiin's pretty good at CS.
Yes.
He's all right.
He's gigantic.
We're going to give the blue to him. Normally meant for Galio, but...
Nope, no. Galio is a leash tool to help Kiin. That's exactly what the majority of Afreeca Freecs players are, to be honest. It's try to get Kiin to a point where he can carry us. Hasn't got any of the kills just yet. It is 3-0-0 for the Lucian, though, already a 650 gold bounty, and Blade of the Ruined King done.
Yeah, this is a really, really rough spot for Kingzone to be in, especially because some of their lanes were intended to get ahead, and it's not like they don't have scaling components available on their team. They do, but to be this far behind at 9 minutes in the game is not what you're expecting. Lucian has a Blade of the Ruined King, Atlas.
I know, it's dumb.
This early in the game. He also has a level advantage. Turns out the culling...
Yeah, Unbreakable pretty good at dealing with it, but Tusin, you can see, is still having a rough time. More turret plates go down. In goes Dread. Hook is not going to land. As Deft has the Frost Shot available, he is going to be able to clear out this minion wave. Cuzz was coming down, but he's playing damage control Jarvin. That is not what you want to be doing. Dread spotted one more time. Deft is going to be able to clear this control ward. Sun is underneath his turret, so at least Kingzone have some control topside, but I don't know how you salvage this. If Kingzone can actually come back in this game, it's going to be one hell of a heroic effort.
Yep. Rascal is... I really don't know what he's doing there.
Tanking the turret. The Y, more difficult. Okay, Ocean Drake going to go down. It's standing underneath the turret. You've never done that before? Arrow lands on the bottom side. Cuzz flashes in, gets the knock-up, aiming, goes down very low, and the bounty gold goes over to the Ashe. Teleport to come in. Deft still doing a lot of damage as they just turn it onto Cuzz. That was a big old whoopsie for the Jarvin, but he had no way of getting out. Already used the flash earlier on. It's a 1-for-1, but it's a lot of bounty gold over to the Ashe.
Yeah, and Deft is probably the one champion you do want to have
Tusin
getting all of that.
Dead.
They saw Dread. They knew he was there.
Is this actually Evelyn? I think maybe Elise is Evelyn this game.
I'm so sorry to the viewers. I really don't know what is happening. This is like the stuff that people rage quit games in solo queue over. You know, people walking over wards and stuff and still dying.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what to say right now, Atlas. The turret goes down. That's 5 plates in bottom lane. And meanwhile, we look at mid lane and top lane, and what has Pawn and Rascal been able to achieve? They haven't even got, I mean, they got 1 plate.
Approximately zip, I think.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out onto aiming. Yes, all of that shutdown gold going over to Deft. Double teleport coming in, but Pawn did manage to cancel Kiin's teleport with the Condemn.
Yep.
And then shortly after this, I wonder if they show it, Enchanted Crystal Arrow, or Hawkshot, saw Dread, and then still.
Do you know how we deal with it?
Yeah, tell me about it.
We move on.
Okay.
we just ignore
move on?
We just try and move on.
Okay.
That's how we tackle this particular issue. You can see Afreeca, even after Deft managed to get that shutdown gold, they are still in the lead. Sun is hanging out towards this mid lane. Shelly's going down, but Kings don't have 4 members here on this top side. They have got the rotation in a decent position. Remember, Galio can get in.
Oh,
His aiming's dead. That was a beautiful realm warp as now Shelly. She could go down next. No opportunities to get anyone in there. Shelly gets reset by the Afreeca Freecs, but I have a feeling that Kingzone are going to be able to get this one done because aiming doesn't have teleport and isn't out of the death chamber for the next little while. Cuzz actually manages to pick up that empowered shock blast. Afreeca are still keen on trying to make this one happen. There's the Glacial Fissure. It's a great taunt from Sun, though. The health bars are melting on the side of Kingzone DragonX because in the backline does take down the Galio. Dread's now in trouble as well. Shelly's getting in amongst it as Dread cleans up the kill in the backline instead of getting out.
That was
Great
really close.
flash, yeah, exactly right from Kingzone. But Shelly should go to Afreeca after all is said and done.
And there's still a minute remaining on the turret plates. If they can actually end up getting this on Kiin and casting it in mid, aiming's going to be able to crash that minion wave. They might be able to get more plates. Teleport coming in. We'll see if they look to utilize it right away.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to. Kiin's going to pick that one up. He heads back with the empowered recall we talk about. Okay,
take a look at what's happening here.
This one's really nice.
Yeah, aiming doesn't have flash available during this, so he's pushing the lane, clearly underestimating the realm warp of Ryze. He ends up getting picked off, and then right here, Kiin is just so massive and monstrous. In King Zone, they all clump up and get hit by all of this CC. They committed so many valuable skills as well to Jelly on the Thresh. And then right here, there's a little bit of a mismatch. Clearly, Jelly wanted to save Dread, but he said, you know what, no, I'll get the back line. You guys get the Herald.
Yeah.
That was Jelly's sacrifice.
Pon also messed up his Silver Bolts quite a few times. He got to the second stack onto people and then changed targets. So we'll see whether his next team fight's going to work out better than that one. He's able to get himself a decent CS lead against the Galio, but you can see 150 farm already picked up for Kiin, and you've got aiming with a huge CS lead over Deft here as well. It's one of the first times that we've actually seen Deft behind in a laning phase. It's what happens when your support dies very early on though, and you're against the Lucian. Zone now have to try and defend against Shelly. No more turret plates available, but there's going to be no more outer turret available as well very, very soon. The Shelly doesn't get a whole lot of value for a charge. And in fact, you don't get a whole lot of value for Shelly at all. As that tower is just going to go down anyway, and she does get the next charge. Okay. Minimum damage buff to Shelly all those patches ago was very valuable right there.
And through this now, Afreeca, almost a 4,000 gold lead. Dread looking to pick up the Cloud Drake.
Yep, lots of amazing vision here available for Afreeca as well. You can see that control ward helping Kiin out here on the top side. It's lining the river. Moving down towards King Zone's base. I don't think Cuzz can go for any sorts of dives, and you can see with the double Serrated Dirk pickups already, Ginsu's Rage Blade, Youmuu's Ghost Blade already completed for Kiin. Afreeca Freecs in all sorts of control right now. 3.5k, the gold lead. It's not all over yet. King Zone do have ways to get themselves picks in this mid game because they do have an arrow. They've got a Realm Warp to follow up. They do have tools, but this isn't necessarily a composition that's screaming to you late game front to back team fighting or anything like that. It's still a weird and wonderful comp. Out of King Zone. And Afreeca, they've got lots of tools to get fights going exactly the way they want. They have the Galio, they have the Thresh to start fights as well as Dread's Elise with the non-committal CC, and they have this man on the top side of the map. That's the scary one here in my mind.
Well, they picked themselves up the Cloud Drake. A second one will be spawning in this game, and they are doing a pretty okay job at recovering in the CS department across the board.
Yeah. You can see the Ashe is actually coming back. 30 CS is the lead that Kiin has, but he's at 170 at 16.5 minutes. He's having a great time.
He almost has the Duskblade of Drakthar now completed. Magical Boots also on the side for Jayce.
Yep.
And one of the interesting things to me, though, is that you look at the boot choices across the board for King Zone, and only Deft has Ninja Tabbies.
Yeah.
So all the other members really going to take a lot of damage from Jayce and the Lucian. And if Lucian ends up shredding some of the armor with that Black Cleaver for Kiin, he'll end up dealing true damage.
Aiming. Okay, they're going to miss the Winter's Bite. Now aiming's going to go aggressive. Thankfully, the Unbreakable is a thing, so Tusin's not going to die. Dread clearing out vision. This pawn has to get underneath his outer turret on the top side of the map. Rascal's having a good time here on the bottom side of the map, and he does have 3 assists on the Ryze, so he is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Archangel Staff already completed. He is building magic resist though, so if we switch the lanes around and then the Ryze is once again against the Jayce, this isn't the Righteous Glory giving you that bit of extra armor. And survivability is going to be something else. Looks like Banshee's Veil might be coming in here. Something of that ilk for Rascal.
Aiming. Just getting pulled back into the middle lane as another turret is raised. 4,000 gold lead exactly here for Afreeca. Yep. In game number 1. But the question does still remain is, can they close it? As Another Cloud Drake is really nice, but when the enemy is already intent on sitting at their tier 2 turrets and farming up for the rest of the game, it's not going to provide that much value. It does feel very nice.
Yeah.
And without the Mountain to accelerate a 20-minute Baron of some sorts, yes, you do have a good Baron taking comp, but it can be a little bit risky. And you gotta wonder, what does Afreeca do if this game goes to 30, 33 minutes, and it's still only a 4,000, 5,000 gold lead? That's gonna begin to favor Kingzone.
Yeah, things are going to get better and better for Kingzone, I guess, as this game goes on. But the problem is that Afreeca have so many tools to avoid that from happening, right? You can see no one can enter lane against Kiin. He's going to be able to keep the pressure on. So the way we're talking about this does mean that Afreeca are in a very comfortable position. But like you say, they do still need to do things. There's just a lot of easy things that they can do to capitalize on this advantage that they already have. So they've done what they need to do. Can they continue doing it throughout the next 10 minutes or so? That's what we're yet to find out. See Pawns building towards Ginsu's Rageblade. Tusin, that was a pretty good twitch on the Unbreakable. Keeps him alive from the Empowered Shock Blast. Aiming's very comfortable. He's hit his 2 items. We're close to getting the Runan's Hurricane from Deft, but not quite there yet.
Dragon coming up now in 43 seconds as they look to maybe make a play here against Rascal. Or just perhaps rotate. Oh, Lucian.
Yeah, it does have the cleanse.
Look at how quick they are, though.
Yeah.
They want to pull the trigger on any play.
Heroic Entrance now on cooldown could actually be the respite the Kingzone need, though, at this stage of the game. Empowered Shock Blast lands onto Deft, exactly the opportune target. That's the ultimate use from Tusin to get the knock-up onto the Galio, but it looks like the pressure is still going to be there. On this inner turret, Hook goes wide, but they've got so many more of them that they can throw out. Born on the bottom side of the map, he's going to be able to get some decent damage here on this turret. As you can see, it's the Jayce moving on over, and
can Kiin actually get onto her?
Well, Pawn thinking about going for the 1v1, actually turns it around. That's the Silver Bolt. The Flash Condemn! Can he actually get after him? Oh no, not going to happen. As Cuzz is looking for it, the Flash, but nothing of the Cataclysm. The arrow's going to snipe it. As Cuzz will sacrifice his life, but the AoE is pretty good out of Kingzone right now. Jelly's going to fall down. It's a kill for the Vayne. Make that 2 and a double for Deft. Ashe now aiming, looks on, and wonders what the hell just happened.
And that's going to be the Baron. You have Vayne, you have Ashe.
They've got so much Baron damage.
Yeah, they have so much Baron damage. They're immune to the... you have Ryze. You're immune. You don't take damage from the Baron. You have Ryze. But maybe what they're thinking is that the double teleport comes in, but Galio doesn't have his ultimate available. But it seems like Kingzone did have on the agenda to start the Baron, and we can see that J4 would almost be able to get there. Yeah. Galio doesn't have his ult. Jayce would get there. He would probably send out a Shock Blast. It could maybe be close. We're taking another look at the replay. The Condemn comes in.
Oh, and he also uses it.
Yeah.
Oh my good. That was one of the best flashes I've seen for so many different reasons.
Arrow just lands right on to Kiin, and Cuzz, I mean, this was his sacrifice, but it didn't really matter. It set so much up here as aiming, even being forced to flash the wall there, being trapped.
That was every flash used from the Afreeca Freecs, and they got straight wiped.
Someone was saying, let's go Baron, let's go Baron.
Look at Neon, he's always so happy.
Smiling.
He's always so happy.
He's the mascot of the team.
He definitely is. He comes in when Pawn gets tilted.
Yeah.
But that hasn't been for quite a few weeks.
All the moods in the team. And now, Atlas, even though 4 kills went down, it's still almost a... Well, all
right,
there we go.
Tusin's in trouble. Deft here. That's a great knock-up from Cuzz. Is Jelly going down very low. The hero's entrance not going to be able to get Tusin. Empowered Shock Blast doesn't... Another snipe with the damn arrow. That's an engage tool, Deft, not an execute. Oh my god. Well, Afreeca Freecs are moving back to the Baron pit, but Deft's got a hawk shot. That's going to help out there. Zombie ward's getting cleared. Control ward doesn't actually get on top of that cheeky little ward behind that pit. Oh, Monitor of you, they're going to get tilted by that one.
Yeah, they are beginning to give off some Griffin vibes here as they are coming back through team fighting.
Yeah, dude, it's 5-1-4 for Deft.
Yeah.
Remember, he was getting smashed in the laning phase. Somehow, Pawn's 3-0-3 on the Vayne mid.
He's given some AP
Rascal.
Ashe enthusiasts.
Oh, the cocoon is going to not land. And that means Rascal's able to get the Rune Prison off and get the Aftershock. He's very comfortable now.
Only about a 2,000 gold lead here now for Afreeca as we approach the 25-minute mark. And at this point, Kingzone are ahead.
Yeah.
And even though Afreeca might have a gold advantage at the top, you have to factor in the team comps, the items across the board are only going to get better from here for Kingzone. It's going to be very difficult for Afreeca in a lot of these team fights. It's going to come down to Kiin being able to offer enough poke with his shock blasts.
And if he just straight up loses a 1v1 to Pawn again, I think this game is over, right? That ultimate out of Tusin was absolutely fantastic. Into the stopwatch there as well, redeeming himself from his early misplays. As what? Deft?
Boom.
It's so funny. Pawn saying, let's not do this. Nope, 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 nope. I'm noping out of this one. Well, now Deft has a QSS and an extra BF sword. He's building towards his Infinity Edge. I believe that aiming is doing the same thing, but it's not going to have as much value given the fact that there's no Zeal item just yet for aiming on this Lucian. It's normally 4 items where you really start getting scared, but he had to build himself a QSS. Before any of that came out, still waiting on flashes here on the Afreeca Freecs side, but it's only about a minute until they are all going to be back available. Same can be said for Kingzone.
Righteous Glory here on the rise, and I really like that as the second item of choice here because the movement speed, being able to get onto the Lucian and lock him down. Jayce is really threatening, and he's definitely a source of damage in extended fights, but not as much as the Lucian. If the Lucian goes down early on, a Vayne or an Ashe remaining for your team, and Ryze and Lucian being deleted for their respective teams, is going to favor Kingzone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially if Pawn's going to continue to play as fantastically as he did in that earlier skirmish that really turned this game around. I swear, if Kingzone are able to actually win this game, it is going to be ridiculous. Just because the early game from the Afreeca Freecs could not have gone any better than it did.
Right. And that's the scary thing, right? For them in game number 2, is you come out of this in game 1.
You lose this game as Afreeca, you are tilted off the planet.
You boom right into relegation.
Yeah, you do.
Potentially.
It might be exactly the thing that KT fans wanted. As Pawn gets very aggressive onto Sun, takes half of his health bar. Comes back here, understands that he can play very aggressively. Outer turret going to be the next thing on the menu. It is 4 turrets to 0, so that's why the Afreeca Freecs still have this decent gold advantage. Standing gold, certainly a thing here, as Cuzz spotted out by the sweeper of Dread.
Everyone's just sort of protecting Pawn here. You could almost say that he is the Pawn in this play.
He is. Arrow's going to come through. That's a great repel twitched out there from Dread. Takes the Lant Ride to get out. It's a big cooldown now. Unavailable for Kingzone. No more executes with the ultimate from the Ashe. Okay, you have to be a little bit careful there, Deft, but does pull himself back. Hawk shot. Spots the fact that there's no one over that wall, and they do manage to clear out that vision. Rascal here. He's still down 30 CS, but I have a feeling that the Ryze is going to feel more and more comfortable into Kiin, who's only got a little bit of Mercury Tread match resist.
So now Afreeca, they're posturing. Oh man, I think they want to flip a coin. This is really hard.
Where's the Hawk shot? Where is the Hawk shot?
Well, they already know this is going on. The blue trinkets coming in. Afreeca, they might just want to flip.
This is a 50-50. Teleport's going to come in from Kiin, but he's going to be very late to this fight as Rascal comes on over. Kingzone, can they actually get this one? Okay, Rune Prison comes in, and Afreeca do pull away from the Baron. It's a lot of damage already gone down. Deft almost has the arrow back up yet again. Minion wave in the mid lane in control here for the Afreeca Freecs. Shock Blast goes wide. Permanent vision. Irremovable vision, sorry. Going to be taken there as Scoodle Rivers goes down.
Like that.
Got to throw it out there, man.
You're like a teacher. You know, you're like a teacher in high school. You never quite forget the names of the students.
Yep, that's how I do. That's what puts me,
makes
me the difference. Yeah, Culling's going to come in. That's a great hook that lands onto Pawn, but he flashes to get himself out of the way. Aiming's going to take down the Braum as the first one, but Deft is free hitting on the backline. They take down the Thresh, but aiming's going nuts against Rascal here. He flashes out, Kiin dives on in, picks up the 600 gold shutdown as Cuzz has to run away. Rascal gets out on a realm walk just somehow, and now they're fish in a barrel. Aiming gets over, that's the ace, and Kingzone have been routed.
And that's definitely going to be the Baron going over to Afreeca now. There's no hope for Kingzone to be able to stop this now. And you have to wonder, what were Kingzone just doing?
Walking outside of vision, my friend.
Yeah, the vision didn't matter. You have Hawkshot on Ashe. There is no universe where Afreeca can just arbitrarily start the Baron and you can't have any knowledge of it. Last cone even being taken.
Yeah, that was to make sure that Tusin couldn't get in with his smite that he picked up.
I mean, just take a look at this, and why are they in the river? There's lanes that they could be fixing. They have wards inside of the Baron pit, and they're not going to start the Baron. And so Afreeca really quick to punish the mispositioning. And I mean, this is it. It's an all-out war right at the very end. Kiin almost going down, potentially. And then they kept chasing. I do like that Cuzz and Rascal at least did split up. They knew that the Shock Blast could be coming. But there was no way out.
Nope. And the cleanup was just too good for the Afreeca Freecs. So back again, well and truly, in the driver's seat. And that's what happens if Kiin can actually work in a team fight.
Now Afreeca with a 7,000 gold lead, almost.
Yeah, this is gigantic now, and Infinity Edge is now completed for aiming, and he does have a Zeal on top of it. So about 50% crit online for the Lucian, and he needs to be removed immediately if Kingzone is going to stand any sort of chance in these team fights. And right now it's just feeling like there's becoming too many threats on the side of the Afreeca Freecs. Tusin very quick on the cleanse as it transitions back into the heal, but it looks like the Baroned up minions are going to help take down this inner turret very comfortably, and Kingzone aren't going to waste their lives on that one. 8,000 gold is the lead, and the lead is only going to extend. 2,000 Baron power play thus far, and we've still got 2 minutes to go.
And the one thing that is going on right here,
diving forward, the culling, he's fishing for it, but he's unable to get the kill. The Braum is now out of this fight. Arrow available from Deft. He was waiting to use it, but he has to remember that there's a QSS on aiming. He can play very aggressively.
Jayce, I mean, he does some damage to turrets.
Yeah, a little.
Just a wee bit. Right over there.
Just a dash.
Cannon adding quite a bit of damage as well. Rascal trying to clean that up, but that's going to be the bottom turret going down. If Kingzone want to stay alive...
3 siege minions.
Yeah, that's quite balanced.
Oh my goodness. Well, Lantern is going to be there for aiming. That's why he's playing so incredibly aggressively. That balance that you were talking about is finally going to get taken out. All 3 of those siege minions are dead, but so is the inhibitor turret in the mid lane. And Kingzone, I just don't know whether they've got any more tools remaining here in this game.
And so
a
here's
heroic
the thing.
mid-game, but it just hasn't been enough.
Yeah. The amount of poke coming out of Kiin is just so massive. It's now Afreeca looking to rotate over to the left-hand side. They want to get this inhibitor.
Yeah, 2 inhibitors is the aim.
A lot of poke.
And what does Kingzone actually do? How do they start this fight? I think it's a suicide coming in from Cuzz to try and keep himself in there as Pawn goes extraordinarily low. Another 2 siege minions are being thrown in, and aiming with the culling just gets them all out of the way of this inhibitor. It's all too easy for the Afreeca Freecs as now they transition towards the inner turret on the top side of the map, and everything is going down like dominoes. Even Dread's able just to leave, go take himself an Ocean Drake if he'd like to. Inner turret goes 3.2 thousand gold bounty, Baron power play as the Baron ticks down, and they even get the empowered recalls for the reset.
Phantom Dancer now also completed on the side of Lucian. 2,000 gold sitting on that Elise. We'll have to see what Dread ends up picking up as his item of choice, as the gold disparity between everyone is noticeable. Now, if you are a Kingzone fan and you're wondering, well, what can they possibly do to stay in this? They have to weather the storm until the Elder ends up spawning, somehow.
Yep.
Or they can outmuscle a team fight in about 2-3 minutes and try to capture the Baron, in which case it would convert into an Elder. But it's all going to come down to, can Kingzone heroically outfight Afreeca inside of the left-hand side river or the red side jungle, and it will be quite a feat.
Well, you can see Kingzone have never actually been at a gold advantage apart from 4 minutes into the game. It's been comfortable for the Afreeca Freecs. Slight blip there, as you could see, where Kingzone won a fight and we dared to dream. But it was lights out after that. Kingzone now holding on to their last remaining inhibitor turret, minion wave. Easier to deal with now that the Baron has worn off. 1 minute till that Baron comes back up again. And you can see Kingzone, they're just waiting to try and find a pick. I feel like Jelly's probably the only target that they can hope to lock down because there's QSSs, there's so many different options. And it's about the Enchanted Crystal Arrow to try and get them in there. And another culling comes out from aiming just in the face of 3 people. He's so calm and safe, standing incredibly far up.
Rascal going to come down here now and try to shove out, probably not just this wave, but the next one as well, as you do want to provide yourself with ample enough time to go over to the Baron and actually maybe contest it.
Yep.
So
he's got teleport available and the Realm Warp as well, so not feeling too bad. Kiin throws in another Empowered Shock Blast. Every single one of these matters. As aiming, that's his Sid Red buff, guys. It's definitely his. Oh man, that's so much damage. Deft able to get some damage down in the backline as Pawn throws in the final hour, but he's using it to kill a ward. I don't think that they can do anything. Afreeca Freecs just move back. They know that they've done enough damage. Rascal had used the teleport already. Cuzz takes too much damage. That's a really good Zhonya's from Rascal, but can he keep himself alive? Cocoon's not going to land. As the Shock Blast comes in, but Tusin's Unbreakable blocks the damage. There are super minions on this Nexus. The Baron will be going to the Afreeca Freecs. Kingzone just don't really have too many options to get them over. Apart from a heroic Realm Warp here from Rascal, but you see he just wants to pick up a Krug Camp. Yeah. He's not going to be able to help this at all.
He is just trying to farm, and we look at the level disparity between some of the champions. 1 level difference in support, 2 level difference, oh no, 1 level difference now in ADC, 1 level difference inside of the jungle as well, but Cuzz did just end up leveling up in base.
Yeah, he did.
And I feel like a lot of people don't value enough level disparities sometimes, as the base stats all do increase.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an invisible stat.
Right.
I mean, you can see that the number went higher, but what does that necessarily mean?
Right. Base HP.
Yep.
Other base stats increasing as well. Obviously, skill points going up.
Yeah.
So, minute and a half now until the Elder, but it might not even make it there, as so much damage. Okay, well.
Yep. Culling flies through, aiming just continuing to be a menace, and Deft can't take another one of those. He has to go back to the fountain. Kingzone have to give up another inhibitor. That's all of them dead. The circling of the drain is continuing for Kingzone DragonX, as it was a really cute decision to go for the Vayne in the mid lane, but there wasn't even a Galio there to contend with.
Oh, and now...
An arrow finally comes in, but it's just going to eat the Mercurial Scimitar out of aiming. Cuzz dives onto Soul. The ultimate misses completely from Tusin, though, as Dread. He's the one that goes down very low. Pawn, final hour is popped, but all of the damage is avoided as he gets a big old shield, but that is about it. It was just the Phantom Dancer coming in with the lifeline. Oh my god, Pawn. So close to picking that one up as Rascal's trying to get damage in the back line. The hero's entrance comes through. They run out of minions, and Kingzone are left alive for a little bit longer as the Baroned up minions are going to retake these inhibitors. The Afreeca Freecs are looking to put the final nails in to the Kingzone coffin.
Kiin coming in off of his teleport. Tusin, 10 seconds away.
Mon has his GA completed. Deft gets his health back as well as Sun taking a fair bit of damage here. Winds of War need to be respected. The hook goes
Tusin's
wide.
Up.
Okay, aiming's going to get taken down. The Nexus, though, is going to evaporate. The Afreeca Freecs upset Kingzone in game number 1.
And this is a really important win for them because every single win will count towards the points for them as well. So obviously, they're going to have momentum going into game number 2. But not only that, guess what else they have going into game number 2? They have Red Side Atlas.
That they do,
you know
and
Red
they've
Side
got
does
Kiin.
When you have a Kiin?
It means that he can counterpick whatever comes out of Rascal, and Rascal doesn't have a lot of, I guess, champions that are very comfortable blind. So
this is the best scenario they could have possibly hoped for is to win game 1 on blue side, get to game 2 on red, and also do it in such a way that Kingzone might be tilted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know whether you're necessarily tilted as Kingzone, because I think a lot of it happened in the draft, and it was a bit of a whoopsie after the lane swap was so successful for the Afreeca Freecs.
Oh!
As there's Gorilla.
Where's
Hello,
Prey?
my friend. On a bit of a holiday. Come back after the LEC season is done. Unfortunately, not going to be in the playoffs, but that means we get to hang out with Gorilla for a little bit longer.
Kiin is on our screen. He did all right on the Jayce.
Yeah, not impressed? Are you not impressed?
Not impressed.
Yeah, you're not often impressed. Yeah, he had a good game. I don't think it was all about Kiin, though. I think Aiming had a brilliant performance, frontlining on the Lucian most of the time. Always had Jelly there on the Thresh to help him out. This needs to be a better performance from Kingzone DragonX in game number 2 if they're going to turn this one around. And I know a lot of us are probably thinking that we're heading towards a 3-game series now because Kingzone are on paper the better team, but we have to go back to what this actually means, and that is an extra point that goes begging for Kingzone in their tie between themselves and Sandbox Gaming.
Oh man, Deft
tried to be the hero.
Yeah, he really did. Aiming with, you know, fantastic damage output there on the Lucian. Kiin chasing him, only off by 500.
Yeah, and even Dread doing a lot of work there on the Elise at the same time, but I just felt like Afreeca Freecs put themselves in such a great position with all of their lanes in the early game. Things went right for the Elise this time around. The Elise that we saw in our previous series in the hands of Bono just wasn't the same, right? Because he had to repeat gank a top lane, and he was unsuccessful each time. Whereas this Elise throws herself to the bottom side of the map and kills someone at about 3 minutes. From then, the dominoes just fall.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to see what Kingzone are going to try to do to bounce back in game number 2 as they're going up against Kiin on red side.
Yeah, Kiin on red side's a difficult one. Could be a 2-0 for the Afreeca Freecs. KT fans are getting real nervous, but I'm personally getting excited to see what happens in the next draft. I'm sorry, I've just triggered almost
what happens
every
when you get
single
excited about KT
fan. I do, don't
Or
worry.
just
I've been a
excited in
KT
general.
fan for a very long time.
You poor soul. Right. Cut the camera.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break. I'm going to cry it out. We're going to get back for game number 2 after.